For those of you guys who are new to the channel, you may not know that Ash, our grumpy mechanic, has a Z4M. And for those who don't know, the Z4M has an S54 M3 engine. Couldn't pull the skin off a rice pudding, but it sounds good. And even less of you might know that this car is actually up for sale. And the reason it's up for sale is because Ash very kindly agreed to go halves with me on the B7 RS4. And although this has only been up for sale for a couple of weeks, the biggest question, or the most common question that people have been asking, is have the rod bearings been done? If there's one job I've never done before, it's rod bearings. But under Ash's supervision, I'm going to have a go at it. I'm going to do it myself, isn't that right, Ash?
No, you fucking not.
Is this how all M cars should be driven?
Yeah, that and no indicators.
This is an absolute thing of beauty. One professional and his apprentice dancing around the underside of a Z4M in the natural habitat. One looking perfectly comfortable, cracking on, and the other is trying to get the caliper off the near side hub. With the help from me, we're absolutely flying through this. I've become chief tool passer. Ash has done an evil GT with his engine brace mount holder thing, and those pieces of wood have been professionally cut by me with an angle grinder. All about function in this unit, isn't that right, Ash? A few more bolts to go before the steering rack and suspension components are free from the underside of the car. We lower it down onto a trolley, undo the last bolt, and there you have it. That is one Z4M subframe, steering rack, suspension components, discs. Luckily our contraption is holding the engine in. Now that you've done the donkey work, Ash, is this where I do the technical stuff now?
Yeah.
There was what seemed like a million bolts holding the sump in position, as well as an awkwardly placed oil pump. Once everything was out, Ash gave the sump a little encouragement and off it came. And with absolutely no oil spill whatsoever, we have the sump off, and to be fair, it looks pretty clean. Pickup looks good, and there doesn't look like there's anything too suspect in the sump either. Ash could actually do this, but the reason we're not is because he obviously wants to sell it and he wants good money for it, and ideally we want this job doing with an invoice done by professionals. Not semi-professionals like you, yeah? We're just getting it to the point where Headshop UK can change the rod bearings and then we're going to put it back together. And at least that way, you know, a professional, reputable outfit have done it rather than, well, me and Ash. While we're on the subject of professionals, can you lot go and be a bunch of professional subscribers and sub to the channel? It would mean a huge amount. Thank you. But before Headshop UK actually get to this, we want to see what these bearings look like. That's actually not that bad, but you can see that there is wear there, isn't there?
It's
Particularly how you've driven it. That is definitely worn. End cap side doesn't look too bad at all, but the piston side has worn through to the copper. Over to Headshop now, who are a highly regarded engine builder based in Warrington. We wanted to try and save time and money on labour, so they kindly agreed to come to our unit to fit the replacement bearings. That meant we didn't have to remove the engine and take it to them. After the end caps were given a good clean, it was in with the new uprated ACL bearings and fastened in with brand new ARP bolts to the correct torque spec. Before anything was finalised, the gap tolerance was checked with plastic gauge. Depending on the width of the plastic gauge, once it's been crushed to the crank, depends on how big or small the gap is. Too tight and the crank will struggle to spin, too loose and the results could be catastrophic for the engine.
Most engines are about 1,000 and a half up to 2,000.
that's about 2,000.
One down, 5 more to go. Brand new rod bearings are in. New dipstick seal is sorted. It's finally time for the sump to go back on. What felt like 100 bolts later, the sump was back in position. Just bear in mind, if you're doing this job yourself, there are different length bolts, so make sure they go back exactly where they come from. Sump with the new gaskets back on. Ash is just tightening up the 10mm bolts that surround the edge of it. Now that the engine side of things are sorted, it was back on with the subframe and connected components. Engine mounts are back on now, so we can release the, what even is this, Ashley? On with the front brake caliper and suspension struts. And then I bolted up and tightened the front wishbones. When we took this out for a bit of a spin, the microphones didn't pick it up, but there was a bit of a knock coming from the driver's side front. And after having a mooch around under here, there's nothing glaringly obvious, so it's going to be a case of process of elimination. Ash has a sneaking suspicion that it's either the coilover or the top mount. And in order to work out whether it's one or the other, we're going to swap them over. And because they are sided, we've got to take the anti-roll bar off. And that's got to be a job for me, right? Now, whether the noise moves or not when we move these coilovers around, we're still going to change the top mounts then, because that will tell us whether it's the coilover or the top mount. But it would be funny if it was neither. We have already changed these bushes around, so we're going to drive it around now and see if the knocking's moved. And if it hasn't, that's when we start with the coilovers. Back in with the sump strainer and new gasket. Tighten up the sump plug and in with some fresh oil. With fresh oil, fresh filter and fresh rod bearings, it's time to go and see if this knocking's moved. We've established that the knock is still there and it's still driver's side, so it's got to be the coilovers or the top mounts. But most importantly, the engine is running sweet. So the plan now is to swap the coilovers over. Now with the coilovers swapped over, let's see if the knocking's moved. I got under the bonnet whilst we drove around and it definitely sounded to me like the noise was in the near side, which would make sense if it's the coilover or the top mount. Ash wasn't convinced, he still thought it was potentially coming from the driver's side, or there was a noise coming from the driver's side as well. We then swapped them back and 100% I got under the bonnet again, and literally within 2 seconds, I could hear it coming straight from the driver's side. So that 100% is the coilover or the top mount, but to me, it sounded like it was the top mount knocking, because it was really, really high up, like right underneath the turret. Now that we've narrowed it down to the driver's side coilover stroke top mount, we've just given this a good wiggle and it doesn't look like there's any play in this whatsoever. So it looks like it's gotta be the top mount, but this is proving a bit of a pain in the arse to open up. And we think it's probably that. After a bit more messing about and a bit more investigation, it turns out it wasn't the top mount at all, it was the shock, the strut itself. We ordered a brand new one from BC Racing, about £146. We've transferred the components from the old one to the new one, and now finally our knocking issue is fixed. Last thing for the Z4 is a Geo. You've got to show that Christmas jumper off, look at that. Beautiful.
Christmas spirit.
Yes, mate. What are you doing?
Alright,
yeah, you sound there, mate. Fucking right straight. Oh my God, hang on a minute. Go! And there we go, she is fully geoed, she's all green, she's all straight and towed and cambered and all that kind of stuff. Ready to go out for a drive. Does it drive straight?
We'll go around the corner right now, so I can't tell you that.
The Z4M Journey, although it's been short, is very sweet. It's done now, it's ready to be sold. It is up for sale. People were asking, has the rod bearings been done? Have the rod bearings been done? Well, yes, we can now tell you that they have. It's also straight, it's been geoed, the car's mint. It's literally like a brand new condition. How many miles has it done, Ash?
Just under 113.
Just under 113,000 miles. The car drives mint. I've had a brief go of it. And it is up for sale. So anybody who wants an immaculately kept, because he used to be a mechanic, although he's not now, he's part-time professional, not like me, I'm full-time professional.
Steady on with the immaculate kept.
Just been serviced, just been geoed, just had brand new rod bearings. I mean,
mounts, drop links.
The engine mounts are brand new, drop links are brand new.
Disc and pads.
Discs and pads are brand new. Like, this car is...
shit.
brand new, I was going to say. But yeah, anybody who's interested, Ash Jones 735 on Instagram. Give him a follow anyway. But if you're interested, give him a shout, DM him, and he'll let you know the price and any other information that you want to know about this car. Ain't that right?
Yeah.
The Z4 has been a crack at this. I mean, look at it. It's a stunning car. If anybody's interested, make sure you give Ash a shout. If you've enjoyed today's video, thank you very much for watching. Please do consider subscribing to the channel if you haven't already, hitting the bell, hitting the like button if you've enjoyed it. And yeah, there's plenty more content coming. We've got content with the Yaris. We have content coming with the RS4, where I try to fix most, if not all, of the issues on that, because there was quite a few. If you've not watched that video, go and check out the previous RS4 video. Ash's Carlton, we're planning some content with that. There's a bit of a winter refresh Ash wants to do with that. He wants to take it off the road and make it mint again. The Z4 will hopefully be finding a new home. This Astra GTE isn't ours, but we are doing a couple of little bits and bobs, not really enough for a video, but who knows, in the future we may have some content with the GTE. For anybody that's interested in that car, by the way, that has a C20 LET engine in it now. It's about 230 horsepower, I think, but he's having a standalone ECU put on it and some tuning and some other bits and bobs. There's the original engine, which he's not selling, I don't think. That's for him. But yeah, C20 LET engine in it. It's a bit of a beast. Oh, and also, for those who've been following the We Buy Any Car series, I do have a car which you should have seen in the last video, which was a big silver Range Rover, a V8 Range Rover. That is at the body shop, because for those who may have seen that video, the rear quarters were completely rotten. So that is at the body shop. I am halfway through that video as well, so there's more content to come with We Buy Any Car. Let's hope for the new year we can actually make some money from them. But that is it for today's video. Thank you all very much for watching, and I shall catch you on the next one.